Welcome to the Rogue Chronicles, where we revisit our past investigations, captured through raw footage and actual evidence. Perched atop a tall hill overlooking Branson, Missouri, the former White House Theater has long stood apart from the city's entertainment strip. The theater was built in the early 1900s by Mr. Bob Weir, a lifelong entrepreneur with a passion for entertainment and community. His vision was bold: to create a large-scale performance venue that could seat over 1,200 guests and bring high-production shows to Branson's growing tourist base. Under his leadership, the theater became a stage for variety acts, musical tributes, and theatrical spectacles, each one adding to the building's legacy. One of the most notable transitions came when the theater was purchased by a Beijing-based company. Their goal was to introduce the Legends of Kung Fu, a martial arts production blending acrobatics, storytelling, and Eastern philosophy. The show brought a new energy to Branson, offering audiences a taste of global performance art in a town rooted in Americana. For a time, it became a symbol of cultural exchange, where East meets West under one roof. In 2022, the city of Branson announced plans to repurpose the structure as the future home of the Branson Police Department and Emergency Operations Center, officially closing its curtain as a public performance space. Unlike Branson's more famous haunted venues, the White House Theater doesn't appear on ghost tours. It's not featured in local legends or late-night specials, but those who've spent time within its walls have shared stories that never made the brochures. They spoke of strange disruptions, lights flickering, equipment behaving unpredictably, a sense of unease that settled in after hours. It wasn't loud, it wasn't theatrical, but it was persistent. Like many of our cases, the details of that night have faded with time, but through re-reviewing our audio and video recordings, we've recovered the claims and have rebuilt the timeline directly from our original recordings. Our connection to the White House Theater started sometime before the hauntings reached us. We briefly worked with one of the smaller shows that performed in a side theater attached to the main building. It was a short stint, but long enough for the main theater staff to learn about our paranormal team. We left behind a few business cards, more to show who we were than with any real expectation of being called. Over a year later, one of those cards resurfaced. A woman named Tiffany, who worked in the office area of the theater, reached out. Her message was clear: something was happening and she needed help making sense of it. She described vases in her office being knocked over, sometimes while people were present to witness it. Her desk calculator once displayed numbers 666 unprompted. She believed the spirit responsible might be Bob Weir, the theater's original founder. In the main theater, the technical crew had their own stories. The soundboard, which controlled the lights and audio, kept resetting, forcing the technicians to reprogram it before nearly every show. The sound guy also reported thinking he was being yelled at, even though no one else was around. She was worried and looking for answers. Who was there? What did it want? We arrived at the White House Theater with a small team: lead investigators Kevin and Gina, and our team member Sean and his daughter, who asked to join us for the experience. Even before we started, the atmosphere felt active, like we weren't alone. There was a weight in the air. Everything we did felt watched, as if we were being followed. We walked the building discussing where to place the equipment based on the layout and the claims received. We placed a night vision camera in Tiffany's office, where many of the reports had originated. A voice recorder was set in other offices nearby, and a camera was positioned to watch the hallways that connected them. In the main theater, we placed a voice recorder on the stage, and another night vision camera focused on the sound booth, a location tied to technical disturbances reported by the staff. Once everything was in place, we began the investigation. While most of the evidence from the White House Theater came later, off camera, and after review, there were a few moments during the investigation that stood out to us in real time. While Sean and his daughter were alone in the main theater, they heard a strange sound, something shifting or snapping into place. They began testing different possibilities, trying to recreate it. Eventually, they found the source, a theater seat. When pulled down and released, the seat sprung back up with a sound that matched perfectly. What could have caused this seat to move? Was it the spirit we felt following us around all night? Sitting quietly in the theater, watching them, causing the seat to bang as it got up? Or did it strike the seat on purpose, trying to scare us out of the building? As much noise as it was making, it still refused to give us any answers. Later that night, Sean and his daughter moved to the upstairs office areas. While up there, they began hearing what sounded like footsteps. When they tried to follow the sound, it would relocate. They moved towards it, and it would shift to the other side of the room. This happened several times. They were never able to catch up to it. When we walked into Tiffany's office to begin our EVP and spirit box session, we immediately noticed her computer monitor was already on, out of screensaver mode. We even had a short conversation about it at the time, wondering what might have triggered it. Later, while reviewing the footage from the camera we had placed in her office, we found the moment the screen came on. No one was in the room. It hadn't been caused by us walking in. During setup, we passed through that office multiple times, hooking up cameras, adjusting lighting, and the monitor had stayed in screensaver mode the entire time. Whatever caused it to wake up happened before we entered, and without any visible interaction. It was a subtle moment, but it stood out. Spirit boxes have always been a point of tension for me. I've seen how easily they can lead people astray, how the static and sweeping frequencies can trick the ears into hearing what it wants to hear. It's a tool I've often had reservations about, even as I've tried to keep an open mind. But every now and then, something happens that's harder to dismiss. For example, years ago, during a private residence investigation, we captured a word on the spirit box, and that same word was recorded simultaneously on a separate voice recorder. That kind of coincidence is rare and much harder to dispute. So while I remain cautious, I don't rule it out completely. During our session in Tiffany's office, we asked, "What has been your favorite show in this theater?" And through the usual noise, we heard something that sounded like kung fu. It was muffled, buried in interference, but it stood out. recalling the main show of the White House Theater for many years was Legends of Kung Fu. The investigation itself felt quiet, but the evidence told a different story. In Tiffany's office, we captured 4 separate audio events. Each one was a series of bangs, sharp, sudden, and isolated. No one was in the room at the time. Given the claims of objects being knocked over in that space and the unexplained activation of her computer monitor, these sounds felt consistent, not dramatic, but deliberate. On the night vision camera positioned near the sound booth, we captured something different. Faint, but unmistakable. The sound of a child giggling. It was brief, no one was near the booth, and it was the only piece of audio that night that didn't sound like something falling or being struck. It made us wonder, was there a child spirit in the theater? If so, it might explain the consistent adjustments to the soundboard. After all, what's more tempting to a child than buttons and switches? The final 2 pieces of evidence were captured at the same moment, on 2 different devices. A loud bang, like something falling or being slapped against the floor, was caught on the camera near the sound booth. It sounded distant. But on the voice recorder placed on the stage, the same sound was much louder, closer. Whatever it was, it happened in the theater, and it happened when no one was there. While our series revisits investigations from different points in time, they are not presented in chronological order. Each episode was chosen for its compelling evidence or the strength of its story, whether rooted in history, personal experience, or the haunting itself. The White House Theater marks the final investigation ever conducted by rogue investigators of the paranormal. After the case closed, so did RIP. We stepped away from the field to focus on the family we had begun. A new chapter, grounded in love and life. But the stories we captured, the places we explored, and the spirits we met along the way continue to echo. And through this series, we honor them.